Hi, my name is Kristen, and my practice is Well Balanced. And this is my friend Lori Micah, who is not only incredible athlete, an entrepreneur, a spiritual leader, but also a great saleswoman. And so I learned so much from her. But we were on our hike today because she's a crazy hiker, and we were talking just about healing and how healing comes in very unusual ways. And if you watch any of my videos, that's what I always say is sometimes the thing in our lives that we have struggled with actually end up being a blessing and a time of growth. So Lori wrote this great book, Signs Surround You, and it was about her true love that passed away a while ago. And I'll let her explain that a little more in her healing story. But I thought this was a great quote. So I'm going to read it from her book. And she said, then it occurred to me that not only was his death the worst thing that has ever happened to me, but in a sense, it was also the best thing that ever happened to me. Life has a way of doing that, taking you all the way down to the deepest abyss, only to show you back up to the surface, gasping for more love, more life, more self-discovery. And with no more words I need to say about that, Lori will tell us her story of healing.
So I guess for somebody, when you have experienced a loss, no matter what it is, a loss of a loved one, a parent, a grandparent, a friend, we go through this grieving process. And I think that for me, the grieving process was especially difficult because when Mark, my love, died, we had not communicated for 3 years, which is a really long time. And we had never, his death was completely unexpected. He was 46, healthy, supposedly, and he died of a massive heart attack after stepping off of the stage. He was a lead guitarist for the band Starship. And I hadn't spoken to him for all that time. And so the death was even more difficult because when you don't get a chance to say goodbye, it just changes the game a lot for you. So there was a lot of healing, and I began searching, trying to connect with him through mediums, through anything I could. And I looked at all of our correspondence all over again. But I think the way that the healing really began was 2 days after he died, I got my first sign. And the signs were always very significant. Most of the times they were related to music. And when I would get a sign from him, I would be very diligent about immediately writing it down, because whether you think the sign is something that's real, it's something that you're wishing for, it's imagined, you want to write it down, because when it happens, you think, oh my gosh, this is amazing, I'm never going to forget this. But the truth is that over time, we do tend to forget or misremember things. And so I began documenting these various signs he would send me, just as a way of preserving them, preserving the authenticity of what they were. And at the end of 2 years, I had an entire notebook of signs. Sometimes they were license plates, sometimes they were connected to white feathers that I would get. A lot of times they were connected to music that I would hear in very unusual circumstances, like you walk into a store, you don't even notice music playing, and then all of a sudden there's a significant song that is connected to the two of you that will play overhead. I would also get signs of, it's going to sound crazy, but a medium told me that he thought it was very funny that he would send me beavers. And I lived in Illinois, and I would be walking in the ponds, and there would be a beaver in the pond, and it would dive under the water just as a lyric that said, I love you, would play on my music. So we get signs and synchronicities from our loved ones. And I think that it takes an opening. And in the very beginning, it can be very difficult to see those signs, because when you're in a heavy grief, if you think about the way that the other side works, when we leave our body and we transition to a new form, a new energy form, we have to then lower our vibration, because as a soul, our vibration is so high and so powerful. And on earth, we're limited to these earthly bodies. And so our vibration isn't as high. And in order to connect with you, they've got to lower their vibration. But if your vibration is already low because you're in deep grief and sadness, it's much more difficult for them to get through to you. So the advice that I would give to anybody is to understand that as you can settle into your heart space, into a place of love, and kind of lift yourself from that grief, you then open yourself up to be able to hear and receive signs. And what I have learned unequivocally is true for every single person is that when someone dies, They love you. They never leave you. If there was something that was left unsaid, all you have to do is think the thought to them and they will hear you. They're with you through the good and the bad. They're with you as you're grieving. They're with you as you're going through experiences in life that you hope to have them included in, like weddings and anniversaries and birthdays. They're still there and they love us and they never leave us. And they want us to know that they're okay. And part of why they send signs is so that they can let you know that you're heard and that they are still there for you. So you might get the lights turn on and off through electricity. You might get a feather. You might get a song that's important and connects you to your specific loved one. You might see a butterfly. It doesn't mean that they're the butterfly. It doesn't mean that they're the cardinal. It's a messenger that they've used their energy to manipulate to get your attention so that you're like, oh, I was just thinking about them at this moment. But they never leave you. And I think that that's probably why I was able to transition from this place of great, great sadness to then having this life where he was letting me know on a very consistent basis that he was around, that he still loved me, even though we didn't speak for 3 years, even though we didn't get a chance to say goodbye. He's been a big part of my life. And he died in 2012. So it's been a very long journey, but he's come to me in dreams and he has sent me signs that are beyond any doubt in my mind that they are him communicating to me through his special ways.
I love that. And so one of the things I was thinking when you were talking was, so when he came to you and things like that, and you felt the healing because he wasn't so far away, you also have totally changed your whole life since his passing.
Yes.
And so you can talk a little bit about that too, because so when he passed, it was not only the most devastating thing to her, but it really catapulted her into this beautiful career that she has been giving back to people and giving back to those who grieve and giving back to the universe, the love that she felt that she lost from him, but really continued on. So go ahead. And
so Mark, it's really interesting to even think about this, and maybe you never have thought about the fact that our loved ones on the other side actually have the ability to work with us. And even though Mark and I had this whole big separation, we had such an unbelievably loving connection. And that love transcends everything. It transcends experiences and time and a change of transition to the other side. And what happened shortly after Mark died is that I went to get a medium reading, and the medium said some mantras about my heart. She told me that my heart wanted to hold the space for love, that it was only love, it was pure love. And then I would go on these walks and I would get these visions in my mind of a heart flying with a message on it. And it might be about friendship, it might be about love, it might be about self-love, it might be about inspiration and encouragement. And they would just form fully formed picture in my mind. And I would jot them down on a piece of paper and I began painting these. And I was not a trained artist. I had never painted before, but I felt I would use some of Mark's sayings in the paintings because he was a very deep person. And the paintings just kind of catapulted into this journey where I decided to paint 40 paintings in 40 days. I don't know why, like 50 sounded like too many, 30 didn't sound like enough. And I started just doing a painting every single night. And I would take it and share it with my friends and my family. And everybody loved it. And they were all these hearts flying with inspirational messages. And as I was nearing the 40th painting, I counted to see when on the calendar it was going to fall. And I can't make this up. The last painting landed on his birthday. And I knew without a doubt that he was behind this and the inspiration. So I ultimately painted 400 paintings over 5 years, and they are all hearts flying with inspirational messages. It's called Soul Heart Art. And it was very healing for me. And at the same time, these paintings have reached millions of people around the world. And I get often people will reach out to me and they'll say, I was using this painting to help me heal from my cancer. I was helping using this painting because it touched me about a divorce that I was going through, or I've lost my job and this painting gave me the inspiration to believe in myself again. So it's through this loss that has transitioned and turned into this beautiful love that is sending out into the world in the form of ripples that affect lots and lots of people. And you never know where one ripple will take you and what it will do in somebody's life. So I just feel so blessed to be the person who's able to deliver these messages into the world, because I don't feel like they're necessarily from me. I feel like they've come from a higher place outside of me.
Yeah, I love that. So, of course, we are, what are we, soul sisters?
We are
and
definitely soul sisters.
Kindred spirits. And her journey mimics a lot of mine too. And so we had so much to talk about and to grow together.
Yes.
And it's so neat to see her desire to spread spirituality and for people to open up to the wonder and mystery of life, which I always say on my channel, like step out of what we think is reality and open up to the mystical wonder and mystery, and how her grief from her lost loved one, the love of her life, actually ended up being a blessing for so many people to receive her love through her art and her books and her paintings. And she even has some books over here that she sells on Amazon. So thank you for sharing it. Any final words?
Yes, my final word is that when I share my signs and my stories, especially with you, because Kristen is a really super good friend of mine, and we hike together, and every time I share something with her and she shares a sign with me, I feel like her signs validate my signs, and I feel like my signs validate her signs. Because when you're going through this journey and you start receiving signs, if you're a logical person, you don't just believe everything. You're like, what, am I crazy? Is this really real? And we question ourselves. And so it's really amazing when you can find other people that you can share your signs with that help validate it for you, because you're also, when you share them, and it's maybe vulnerable for you to do that, you're also potentially validating somebody else, and you might not even be aware that this is something that you have the ability to do. So I would encourage you to find people that love you and don't judge you, and share these signs, because not only is it helpful and healing for you, but you have no idea what you might heal in someone else.
Yes. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.